Hi sewing friends, welcome to another video. In today's video I am sharing my new fabulous snake print satin top, hashtag brynnmccalls. If you follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, what are you doing with your life? You would have seen this top already, and that is because this was the pattern for Sewyourview for April. If you are not familiar with Sewyourview, Sewyourview is a page on Instagram. It was started by that Sew Monica. Every month there is one pattern, and if you choose to participate, you'll be sewing up that one pattern. You can do any view, you can do hacks, just make it your own. And lately she has been choosing guest hosts. So for April, the guest host was Koi Teak Made. I will link her Instagram page as well as Sewyourview, as well as That's So Monica. Now in the past, they would usually do a lot of simplicity patterns, or even when it used to be MCCALLS patterns, I would not have access to them because at that time MCCALLS did not have as much PDFs as they do now. But recently, they've been using a lot more MCCALLS patterns. So now, if I don't have the pattern on hand, I can download the PDF, which is what happened for this pattern. Now, initially, I did not plan to take part in Sewyourview this month, even though I was a fan of the pattern. And that is because of time. So I've been working on a lot of pattern tests recently, and there was one that was giving me a lot of trouble. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen a little breakdown. I was at a really low point. I completely felt like giving up. I was doing a pattern test and I failed completely. Like for the first time ever, I could not get past the first few steps of this pattern test. So on the 29th of April, the night before Sewyourview was supposed to end, I submitted an email withdrawing from that pattern test, regrettably, but it had to be done for my own mental health. It had to be done. And like I said, I was feeling extremely down, and because I shared that on Instagram, I received a ton of messages. Like the messages just kept coming in, one after the next, one after the next, one after the next. And I want to say thank you. If any of you are watching this video, thank you so much for your comments, because they really lifted my spirits that day. So anyway, That's So Monica messaged me, and as soon as she messaged me, it's like a light bulb moment happened, and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't get to do Sewyourview this month, and I just withdrew from the pattern test, so I have a few hours still to get Sewyourview done. And most of you are probably thinking like, okay, if you're already done and you already had a sewing fail, why are you gonna put yourself through that stress? Welcome to Kira's world. I know it does not make any sense at all, but that is the way I usually get myself back up after a failure. I need to challenge myself. I need to do something fabulous and fancy to lift my spirits anytime I'm feeling down, and that's exactly what I did with this pattern. As you can tell, this is very fabulous, very fancy. This is a night out top. Not that we can go anywhere anytime soon, but this is what I wanted to do, and I got it done, and it made me feel a whole lot better. So now about the pattern. So hashtag brynnmccalls, other known as M8035, is actually a dress pattern. And on the pattern cover, it's kind of giving me like peasant dress vibes, boho vibes, beachy vibes. The model on the cover is having like a double gauze, very chill, breezy moment. The complete opposite of what I'm wearing right now. Koi, the guest host, very early up in the month, she had done a sew along where she used the peplum version from one of the views of the dresses, and she just made a top instead. And I figured, since I didn't have much time, I only had a few hours, and I knew I wanted to use this fabric and I only had 1.5 yards, I figured that the top would be perfect. So that same night, I printed my pattern, assembled, cut my fabric, and then the next morning, which was the deadline day, I sewed it up, and by afternoon I had my pictures posted on Instagram. Needless to say, this is a pretty easy pattern to sew up. Pattern pieces, you have your two front pieces, sleeves of course, front peplum, back peplum, then your back piece, and then back and front facings. Sleeves are finished with elastic. You also have the option to make some petal sleeves, but for this fabric I wanted more drama. And then there's elastic in the waist as well. Now I use smaller elastic than was required for the dress version, and that's because I followed Koi so long, and she recommended using smaller elastic if you're doing a peplum top, and I definitely agree. I think it looks a lot better with the smaller elastic. So it's a 4 wrap top. The wrap is completely attached, but then you have the elastic in the waist. The back is pretty plain and simple, and then you have the dramatic elastic billowy sleeves. I didn't have enough fabric to do pattern matching and really pay attention to how I was cutting the snake print, but I think it worked out just fine. The print is so busy that I don't think anybody will be paying attention to how the snake print is set out. One thing I don't really like is this facing, and I actually used really lightweight interfacing, and I find that it's still a bit stiff and bulky in the front. So next time I would probably just use bias binding. I think it would lay a lot better with bias binding. Also, depending on where I'm wearing this, I may have to put a tack or a pin right here because it tends to open, especially from the side. I don't know if you can see. I finished the hem with a narrow hem, and yeah, there isn't much to say about this. I feel like my fabric speaks for itself. I got a ton of compliments. Like, everybody loved my fabric choice, and I've had this fabric for over a year now in my stash, just not knowing what to do with it. To be honest, it's not really me. I'm not a blue person. I'm not this kind of out there person either, but I actually really love this, and that is the reason why it was in my stash for so long. I think I was afraid to cut it, and I was afraid that it would just be too much, but I think this is the perfect style for this fabric. Of course, satin was not the easiest thing to sew, especially after just having a sewing fail. It was slipping and sliding all over the place, but I made it work. I got it done, and I'm really, really proud of this. Also, I do have a blog post on my blog, islandsocialist.com, just going into a little bit more detail about what happened the day before and how I ended up making this. So if you're interested, you can head over there and have a read. So I'm gonna really try to participate in Sewyourview every month because I really like the community aspect of Sewyourview. Like, everybody supports each other, everybody supports the guest host. We have a lot of fun chatting and planning our makes, and it's really easy to ask questions if you get stuck at any point. So yes, this was the perfect pick-me-up pattern, and it just made me feel so much better. So thank you again for all of you who reached out to me. I really, 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 really appreciate it, and thank you for all the love on this top. If you are not following me on Instagram, please head over there and click follow right now. I'm giving you 2 seconds. Also, if you're not subscribed as yet, I would really appreciate it if you click the subscribe button down below. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. If you enjoyed, give me a big thumbs up, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye!